Can you explain a little bit on the time frame of this example from JP Morgan? How much time?
When did AMQP start? I don't even know.
It was a little bit before I joined that the work group got formed. We delivered our first product about 2 years ago.
I would say it started they probably started building it 4 years ago, I would say, gut feeling wise. 4 or 5 years ago, and then there's a whole project. It's called amqp.org. I'm sure that there's the complete history somewhere on there. But JP Morgan Chase, they were the initiator. Then they attracted, I think, Credit Suisse and a few other banks to trying to join in, and then they came also to us, and then we pretty much made it an open source project.
For us, the product's called Merge, which stands for Messaging Real Time and Grid. It's the messaging component in that. And a number of exchanges are now using it. Cisco's natively embedding it in routers. That's another example. One or the other, this is more of an aside, an interesting thing about being an open source is we never, people often say, well, what are your new products? What do you have coming out? And they say, you just go and see what projects are we working at sponsoring, right? Cooling Tower, Infinispan. We got a bunch of them that Red Hat's involved in. And as those develop at some point, they get enough customer interest and uptake and participation that we'll decide to commercialize it. So take AMQP, I don't know if long term we'll ever make a lot of money on AMQP, but I never worry, is this what our customers want? By the time we actually put a product in the market, our customers are already using it. We are now commercializing it and deciding to provide long life support. But it's like a glove. I know the glove's going to fit because our customers built it themselves to their own specifications. So when we come out with a product, we know it's exactly what our customers want because they helped us build it. Now, can we absolutely monetize it? Do they see enough value in our model? Is up for debate like anyone else in a product. But we're never, in a back room developing saying, okay, I'm going to announce this with big fanfare, and now hopefully this is what our customers want. It's a very different model because our customers are so involved all the way through in the development process.
Can you elaborate on what problems your salesmen encounter in selling this product? What's the most common?
AMQP or in general?
I mean, you are growing fast, but you can grow faster if you take away the common problems, the answers of the businessman. I don't need you.
Well, I mean, let me start with a couple of broad ones that I hear, and then Werner, you guys may want to come in with some additional. First off, I mentioned Moore's Law 2 or 3 times, and a lot of people think, ooh, Moore's Law, most powerful phenomenon. No. The most powerful phenomenon governing enterprise IT over the last 30 years is inertia. Inertia is an extraordinarily powerful force. I don't necessarily mean this in a bad way, but once you have an installed base of stuff, you know it, your people are trained on it, it's running. Now you're going to add an incremental 5%. Well, do you want to bring in a whole new set of technology, or do you say, yeah, for the incremental 5%, yeah, I'll just keep using what I'm using. I know it may not be the best thing, and it may be expensive, but my people already know it, they're trained on it, the incremental cost of adding 5% is not a big deal. The next year, well, I got to add a little bit more, right? So people will often say, because I have this bulk of stuff, I'm going to stick with what I have, even though I know it's more expensive, it's not as fast, right? And so at what point do you say, you know what, it's time to bite the bullet and move, right? So I'd say that's number one, probably more than anything else that I hear, is just my people are trained, they know this stuff, why bother moving, right? We do much better and have a much higher share of new project starts than people just making additions, right? The idea of when something's working, why rip it out and re-platform it if you don't have to?
Right? Maybe to add this, the key thing is, because human beings don't want to change, because change is hard. We need a disruptive event. And when you look at the history of Red Hat, we have been with, or also open source. Open source became really broadly used in the enterprise after the first huge disruption, which was when the internet bubble burst in the early 2000s. When the bubble burst, and it was suddenly a huge issue for especially all the investment banks on Wall Street. They were sitting on very, very expensive infrastructure, especially a lot of Sun Solaris, huge machines dedicated to individual applications, extraordinary cost.